South entrance to Giza pyramid and anti-gravity machines used for their construction 36,000 years ago. The ancient aliens theory claims humans could not have built the pyramids alone. In some of these old photographs of the Great Pyramid, a slight outline can be seen that is alleged to be the southern entrance to the pyramid. In these 19th and 20th century photographs, when the pyramids were partially covered with sand, this possible southern entrance was at the ground level. Though there is no public information about the alleged entrance, it's mentioned in the book Land of Osiris by the American Egyptologist Stephen Muller. The book says Flinders Petrie, together with American archaeologist J.O. Kinnaman, found the southern entrance to the pyramid. It led to hidden rooms, which contained the ancient records of past civilizations and the anti-gravity machines, quote-unquote, that were used in the construction of the pyramid, as well as records that the pyramid was built over 36,000 years ago. Kinnaman, who was also a biblical scholar, told about it in a lecture to a small audience of Freemasons in Northern California, later recorded on cassette at the end of his lifetime in the year 1955. He was born February 23, 1877, on a farm 11 miles north and 1 mile east of Bryan, Ohio. He was the one child of wealthy parents, and his father was a physician and a Harvard graduate. In his childhood, Kinnaman acquired an early interest in antiquities as he gathered arrowheads and other native artifacts all around his parents' farmlands. He graduated from high school at the age of 15 and was licensed as a teacher in the state of Ohio at the age of 16. He was the second youngest student ever admitted to Tri-State College in Angola, Indiana in 1894. His major was classical course, in which he specialized in Greek and Latin literature, ancient history, philosophy, and classical archaeology. In 1900, Kinnaman entered the University of Chicago in order to pursue graduate work in Greek and classical archaeology. While at the University of Chicago, he studied medicine for 3 years, but never completed the MD degree. Kinnaman stated in response to this question that he and Petrie agreed that the world was not ready for that information at the time. Stephen Muller explored Petrie's connection to Kinnaman and information about their finds in more detail. Quote, Kinnaman claimed that there was no written evidence of their finds in the Great Pyramid because he and Petrie swore to the governments of Egypt and Great Britain until their death not to reveal the details of what they managed to find. At least Petrie kept his word. Kinnaman stated that at the time of their discoveries, it was decided that society was not yet ready to learn about the possibilities of overcoming gravity and the discoveries they made in the Great Pyramid, end quote. Although there is no direct evidence of Petrie's friendship with Kinnaman, either in biographies or in letters, there is circumstantial evidence. Thus, Stephen Miller writes that they were both members of the British Foundation for the Study of Palestine, the Victorian Institute of Great Britain, and 2 of Petrie's colleagues regularly contributed articles to the American Antiquarian and Oriental Journal, where Kinnaman was the editor-in-chief. Kinnaman used to claim that archaeology would establish the Bible as a historical as well as a literary document, but only in the pure original form. Spending over 50 years in the field, Kinnaman circled the globe 7 times in the pursuit of knowledge. As a true world explorer, he lived with a remote tribe of Eskimos in the Arctic for 6 months. He was captured by Jivaro head hunters in South America and spent some time in Africa, cannibal tribes. He was also one of the first archaeologists to explore the catacombs of Rome following their rediscovery, and was part of the archaeological team that discovered the tomb of the Queen of Sheba in Ethiopia. Egyptologists such as Zaki Hawass and Mark Lerner deliberately created an informational scientific background around the pyramids, drowning out alternative theories. Lenner, who at the beginning supported the theory of ancient, highly advanced civilization behind pyramids construction, suddenly began to promote the official story, enlisting the support of Zaki Hawass, and received a complete monopoly on the study of the pyramids in Egypt without any restriction. Lenner also actively refuted Robert Schoch's theory of rain erosion of the Sphinx, arguing that it was some modern erosion. In the 1990s, Robert Schoch proved that the furrows on the body of the Sphinx and the trenches around it are rain erosion. Such heavy rains capable of leaving such traces of erosion were not in Egypt, according to the official chronology of 8,000 years. Kinnaman stated that one of the functions of the Great Pyramid had been a giant radio system. By virtue of the huge crystal stored in a chamber 1,100 feet below the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, Egyptian priests could send telepathic messages around the world. Can you imagine? According to Dr. Albert J. MacDonald, president and executive director of the foundation, one of the places Kinnaman said these messages were sent was the Grand Canyon. Kinnaman may have known about the find in the Grand Canyon in 1909 and even knew Professor S.A. Jordan, but we have no documentation of it. If someone pays attention to his lectures, then it is certain that Kinnaman did not fabricate the discovery of the entrance on the south face, nor of the rooms with ancient records, or the prehistoric antiquity of the Great Pyramid. Kinnaman said he believed the world would be ready for that information someday, and that it would be soon after his death. So if there was any southern entrance to the Cheops Pyramid and the secret chamber, then it was wisely protected by the mainstream Egyptologists. This is published on House and Wise on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.